lack. Wisdom of war, we're the ones to seek strategy and skill, it's the grind of the peak. Ghost with the tactics, Bob brings the heat. Lipinski and Pease got the moves, can't be beat. Onward in the virtual war, Masak on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. So tune in and ride, let the battle commence. In the brutal podcast, we drop that intense. From the chaos of combat to the calm of the chat. We're warriors of wisdom, and that's where it's at. Welcome to the brutal podcast, no time to relax. Shipwrecked in the booth, we're spitting facts. Some strats to loadouts, we break it all down. Goes Bob, Lipinski, Pease holding the crown. Onward in the virtual war, Masak on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. Wisdom of war, we're the ones to seek strategy and skill, it's the grind, not the peak. Ghost with the tactics, Bob brings the heat. Lipinski and Pease got the moves, can't be beat. Onward in the virtual war, Masak on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. Wisdom of war, we're the ones to seek strategy and skill, it's the grind of the peak. Ghost with the tactics, Bob brings the heat. Lipinski and Pease got the moves, can't be beat. Onward in the virtual war, Masak on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. So tune in and ride, let the battle commence. In the brutal podcast, we drop that intense. From the chaos of combat to the calm of the chat. We're warriors of wisdom, and that's where it's at. Welcome to the brutal podcast, no time to relax. Shipwrecked in the booth, we're spitting facts. Some strats to loadouts, we break it all down. Goes Bob, Lipinski, Pease holding the crown. Onward in the virtual war, Masak on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. Wisdom of war, we're the ones to seek strategy and skill, it's the grind, not the peak. Ghost with the tactics, Bob brings the heat. Lipinski and Pease got the moves, can't be beat. Onward in the virtual war, Masak on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. Wisdom of war, we're the ones to seek strategy and skill, it's the grind of the peak. Ghost with the tactics, Bob brings the heat. Lipinski and Pease got the moves, can't be beat. Onward in the virtual war, Masak on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. So tune in and ride, let the battle commence. In the brutal podcast, we drop that intense. From the chaos of combat to the calm of the chat. We're warriors of wisdom, and that's where it's at. Welcome to the brutal podcast, no time to relax. Shipwrecked in the booth, we're spitting facts. Some strats to loadouts, we break it all down. Goes Bob, Lipinski, Pease holding the crown. Onward in the virtual war, Masak on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back.
Alright, hello and welcome to tonight's brutal podcast. This episode is all about map making. So I brought the best of the best in here. We've got Swampboogie, Skyler, and Bluega. What's going on, fellas?
What's
Hey,
up?
Shipwreckd.
Yeah.
What's up,
Good to be here.
So a lot of people
Maybe.
have wanted this episode for a long time. I know what it takes to build a map. I've never built one. I've tried. I've gone through Beluga's crash course. And it was like just open your mouth and try to drink as much water as possible coming out of a fire hose. So it's a lot of information. This episode is you're not gonna walk away from this episode knowing how to build a map, but it is gonna point you in the right direction and how to connect with the right people on getting that accomplished. But before we get into this, let's get into some league news. We've got the VRCL. Their trial season starts February 16th, and their season 1 starts officially March 16th. IVRL, everything's still to be determined. Still waiting on that update, so stay tuned for that. The big announcement that was made today was the VRML, their preseason warm-up. That's the custom map tournament that starts February 10th. So you're going to enter your VRML team into the website just like you're doing the Challenger Cup. So yes, it's one step closer to season 17. Real exciting news. I know a lot of players are pumped about that. Moving on. Oh, and then OCL, they have started their season 0, their inaugural season. They've started off strong as a new league. They have 26 active teams right now, and they've just completed their first week. So that's going to be a fun little league to join as well. All the links to all this is in my bio, so be sure to go check out those Discords and websites. On to tournaments. The Onward Custom Map League, they've actually extended an extra week to add semifinals since it's so close right now. Flashbangers and No Quarters are tied with 33 points. The Titans Animal House is sitting second place with 32 points. I mean, that's amazing what y'all have created. Because Bluega, Swamp, and Skyler are all part of that Onward Custom Map League, and they've been able to bring a lot of stuff to it. So yeah, but we also have the Brutal Double Date Night coming up. That's the Brutal Double Date 2v2 single elimination. I think there are 23, 24 teams right now. So, yeah, and you're just playing for bragging rights. It's something fun for Valentine's Day. That's going to be in February 16th of this year. So, just a few weeks away. So, go over to the Brutal Cast Discord and get hooked up there. We also have Sakio's Freehand vs. Gunstocks on February 5th. Be sure to tune in to the Brutal Cast to watch that match in English, and if you want to listen to it in Spanish, head over to Sakio's. You can also join his server to see if there's any open slots for either one of those. But then this is something that benefits y'all. This custom map tournament that starts February 10th for VRML. So the community votes on custom maps to be added to the map pool. So you have Sand, Ashes in the Snow, Hook, Hanger, Paintball, Speedball, Sim Alpha, Frostbite, Pestilence, Sea Storm, Dead Mall, Offshore Platform, Arctic, Shipyard, Slums, Extraction. So be sure to go over to the VRML Discord and vote for your favorite maps. I mean, that's what y'all guys really strive for. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm just curious how those maps were picked too, because I actually know Deadmau, I think, was actually recently removed from the workshop.
I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know, might be worth checking.
Yeah. I'm just the middleman. I'm just passing on this information. So
Yeah, I just saw the announcement too about it. I'm pretty excited. I didn't know the map list though. That's cool to hear.
yeah,
I'm
I
glad to
mean,
see Slums, Paintball,
yeah, I know. I see some of y'all's
Pestilence.
maps. Pestilence. I mean, I would like to see some East Village in there. Get some more brutal podcast logos in there or something.
I think they're probably too nervous to like the new stuff and might be
Yeah.
bugs in it and whatnot.
Yeah.
I know we found like 1 million during the last OCML tournament we did.
Yeah.
Every week we were updating.
All right, and then the final tournament we have. This is actually a tournament series. So this is the Swift Strike tournament series. This is going to be a monthly assault tournament series. They have partnered up with Celebrity Sports Inc. So be sure to go to their Discord for more info on the details of the tournaments going on. They're also going to be casting more details of this tournament at 8 Eastern on Twitch and YouTube at the Onward Radio. So, yeah, be sure to check those guys out. They've reached out to me, and we've had some talks that are still G14 classified right now. I am going to be going over and helping them cast some of those matches. Well, everybody wants Shipwreckd in their life, pretty much. But we've got all that nonsense out of the way and all that fabulous news. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. So, map makers, y'all are the Onward Custom map league. Y'all are the big guys in charge. So tell me a little bit about that.
All right, all right. We are all community managers with the owner Swampboogie right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a community manager. Bluega's community manager. We also have Kitsanu, a map creator who created the map Laser Quest, and Jack Art, who has created a bunch of maps and has more on the way. He has created outposts and a few others. I think Bluega knows more about them than I do.
Institution, yeah. Volksburg, yeah.
Yeah.
He's made a bunch now.
Yeah.
It's got some exciting
created a
stuff coming
bunch.
too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Now, some more info with the whole extending it for a week. If
Yeah.
you look how close these scores are, it is crazy. Animal House is only down a point. Proteus is only down 3 points from Animal House. Matches this week for the semis are going to be wild. I can't wait. I know the teams can't. I'm going to be an amazing week, and the finals are going to be even crazier.
Oh, I bet. I mean, like, especially no quarters. I've watched those guys. I've casted those guys a lot, and a lot of people have underestimated that team, and the amount of reps they put in is just incredible. So, and you can clearly see it's paying off for sure.
They can make it to the finals this week. It's going to be a lot of good matches. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what I like about y'all's league, these are custom maps, and a lot of these maps are new. With constantly being updated throughout this tournament, so you're really putting these players in that tactical mindset to where they have to think on the fly. It's not like playing Downfall where it's like, oh, I know this line. I've played this map for 5 years or 6 years, or like Bluega being around since it was created.
Yeah, it definitely it levels the playing field. And to me, I mean, that's one of the funnest things about it. It gives you an opportunity to kind of go into a map that you're not so familiar with your team, and really just kind of depend on like teamwork and comms, and not everybody's that familiar with it. So it levels the playing field, and you can see it in the matches. I mean, these matches are all really fun to watch, really fun to play, and they're all so close. And I think
Yes.
that's one of the things that contributes to it. And the way that we have this tournament set up, where we're playing these same maps over and over throughout the tournament, gives teams the opportunity to play the map again that they played last week. And so maybe they take time. I know Wrecking Crew has, we've gone out and gone into free roams and laid down strats and really kind of like walk through the map and try to find like cool places to hide and strategic positioning, and and bringing that into the next game. And as teams get more comfortable with these maps, um, the more they like them, right? Because I think it's just natural. You hop into a map that you never really played before, and you get your butt kicked, and it's like, oh, that wasn't too much fun. We really want to. It's real easy to just kind of go with the familiar. Like, we're going to go on Subway. I know all the spots on Subway. I have my routes. I know exactly what we're going to do, and like that's comfortable. But to put yourself in an environment where everything is new, is challenging. And yeah, it's not always that comfortable, but I think it's fun. I think it's great. And so far the tournament has just been really exciting because of that. That's one of the biggest reasons. And it gives us as map makers opportunities to get real honest feedback from a competitive standpoint on our maps, which is one of the things that we're trying to do over there, is like create that platform. Because before it was like, okay, well, I made a map, and it's like, there wasn't really an arena for it to be played on a competitive level, and it was just kind of in the map pool. And certain teams may engage with it a little bit, but it was never I don't know, it was never part of any kind of structured like tournament or anything like that. So people kind of stayed away from them because it's like, well, let's focus on the maps that we're going to be playing in league. And what the OCML is doing is it's a benefit for the map makers, because it's like, oh, okay, now, because that's why we're designing them with a competitive mind frame, right? Like when I'm laying out a map and I'm like designing, lanes, and put a box here, and here's a little nook, and here's a line of sight, and all these things. I'm thinking of it as a player. So the most rewarding thing is to have the opportunity to see like these top level teams get in there and engage with it. Is the coolest thing ever. It really is, because it's like, damn, dude, like I made that, like I thought about that, like I designed that, and it's so interesting because things happen that you wouldn't even expect of. Spots open up that you didn't plan, and there's lots of things where it's like, oh, that needs to move, or oh, that's broken. And this gives us kind of like that testing ground where, like you said, Ship, I mean, throughout the tournament, we're updating maps. I'm updating East Village right now, and that's from the players' feedback. If we didn't have that, then it's like these maps. This is really giving them the fuel that they've needed for so long to to get to where they need to be be played at a competitive level.
Yeah, so you brought up East Village. I love that map just because there's a brutal cast uplink, just saying. No, but the evolution of the gameplay on that map, and I got to witness it firsthand because I went and played with some of these guys who were practicing right before y'all started this, and like no one really knew about those outside flanks, or even nobody knew you could get into some of the buildings. And then seeing them, it reminds me of like little ants. Like ants just follow one right behind each other, and then you have one or two that spread out, and then everybody else starts flowing and filling. I mean, there's multiple ways to get from point A to point B, and y'all having to strategize that. I know me and Bluega have gone in depth about talking about this and bottlenecks and giving players options so they're not forced into a bottleneck position, and it makes it a really Volk-sided map at that point. And just watching these players just come in, and when you are building a map, I can see, like you were talking about, you're thinking as a player. And when you're watching these players play your map, and it's like, I didn't even realize like that was a thing, or that push. I really like that. And just seeing the evolution of gameplay on your maps must be phenomenal.
Well, on top of that, it's like the community, right? Because this gives us an opportunity to work to build these and design these maps as a community. I mean, last night, for instance, we were all on a group call, and Flipinski is like, dude, you should put an alley right here. And I was like, oh shit, I never even thought of that. And now, like, ask all y'all, it's like, you guys think this is a good idea? Yeah, it's a good idea. Boom, Allie's there. And that's fun, right? And it's like now everybody has a little bit of input, which, when it comes to DPI maps, they're beautiful, wonderful, amazing maps. But our voices, we don't get a chance really to be like, oh man, I wish, like we don't get to talk.
Yeah.
To the map makers, like, hey, dude, you should do this. So that's really fun too, especially for me. And it's about the community and we have the ability to move things and change things and make things bigger and add lanes and cancel lanes. And it's definitely like a group project.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I know, like, I've helped out and gave some inputs from caster standpoints.
Yeah.
Because I guess when y'all are building maps, y'all don't have that perspective, and
No.
so it really helps to having that whole community involvement there. Just like Laser Quest. I mean, that put me back in my high school days, going to play laser tag in these like carpeted buildings and where there's so much noise seclusion. It's crazy, almost like
Yeah.
make you want to go insane. It's so quiet in there, but you have people running around shooting laser guns at each other. And that aspect of keeping it quiet, I know some people are like, no, it's too quiet, and I'm like, bro, you've never been in laser tag.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what
I
it
love it.
sounds like. And the colors and everything. I mean, as a caster, it was a bit difficult, but I gave you all my recommendations and to where it's caster friendly and can be viewed by the viewers for sure. So
Yeah.
I know there were like a lot of new map makers and stuff that I know like Rose said she had never really played uplink before going into this, and she was asking me for recommendations on where to place uplinks and stuff. And I don't want to make any like design decisions for them. So I think like the first week they placed them, and there might have been one objective that Marsoc could get to before Volk, and it made it really difficult to defend. And she was actually watching the cast, and I think she actually loved your cast Shipwreckd, and she got to learn about like kind of what uplink's all about. And by week 2 they were a lot better. By week 3 I think I haven't had a chance to play it this week, to be honest, but I know that she moved one of the objectives, and I think it's going to play beautifully from now on. So I mean, that's something that we wouldn't have gotten without like this whole tournament, and especially you, the casters, so that she could actually watch and get live feedback and see what the issues were. I think that worked out really great.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm here to do whatever happens. Make this game greater. So that's what I'm here. So I mean, it takes a whole army to keep it going. And I mean, with map makers and the community and the casters, I mean, it's everybody, one team, one fight. So, absolutely.
Couldn't say it better myself.
So you got people who are interested in making these maps. What are some good like basic programs to familiarize yourself with? Like, I know, of course, Unity is the main program, and then getting involved with Blender and knowing how that operates. Are there any more?
So I would say, honestly, Blender, that's like unnecessary for your first map. I would say when you're making your first map, I would just stick to Unity. And there's a lot of things you have to kind of consider, especially with quest performance. You have to really keep things like low poly. So yeah, we always recommend we have to keep everything. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to explain low poly because so low poly is like 1990s Lara Croft Tomb Raider. So just it's more triangulated and less rounded.
Yeah. So if you imagine like everything on your map is basically made out of triangles, and I know that sounds like wrong, but like if you have a sphere, it's actually made out of triangles. You piece together a whole bunch of triangles, kind of like a soccer ball is made out of hexagons, I guess. Bad example, but you get the idea. Everything that's round is actually made out of triangles, and when you're playing on a mobile hardware, you have to really keep those numbers down as much as possible. There's a lot of cool assets on the Unity store. That's where I get most of mine, and I guess that you're asking what kind of programs you need. Unity stores like that's where I get my assets. And for all new map makers, that's what I recommend you do. There's some free asset packs. Should I share my screen?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. So if you want to get that ready, and are you ready right now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let me get this out of the way.
All right.
Yeah, so go ahead.
All right, here we go.
So this is the main asset pack we recommend for all new map makers, and you're gonna see a lot of extremely familiar like objects, right?
Yeah.
Every map has seen these cargo crates, these boxes, these maybe not so much the barrels, but you recognize a lot of the stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I do, because that's the
Um,
map you started me on.
yeah, it's basically what we start everyone on because it's free. It's very low poly. There's some screenshots in here I can show you, which actually show the number of triangles an object is made of and kind of demonstrate it. And stuff like this is very low poly. When you're making a quest game, you have to keep it under 350,000 triangles for any given camera angle. And so imagine this building is 420 triangles. When you add that up, you can fit a lot of buildings, a lot of different objects with this asset pack. But most of the assets that you get off the Unity store, they're extremely high poly. I can share.
So like,
So
so you're looking for squares. So I mean, that's how I grew up in video games. Squares, like Mario Brothers, stuff like that. So now we're in triangles when it moves 3D and virtual reality.
So I just wanted to show this. This is the asset pack I got slums from, and you can see it's very similar to what I produced. The only difference is there's grass here. There's a couple of things that I had to take out or like I can't use the fancy shaders. That's why there's no water. And sorry, I'm going off about shaders here, but yeah, it's cool like reflective textures and stuff like that. That's the sort of stuff that we have to kind of like reduce to get this stuff running on a quest. So something like this, like that car there, I think that's like 45,000 triangles. So you can't really get away with using assets like that when your budget is 350,000, because you're already using like a seventh of it just on that one car.
Now that's just on Quest. Now, if you're PC VR, you can play a PCR version and get these better graphics, correct?
Yeah, so on PC the limit's 10 million. And that's why you can kind of use whatever when it comes to PC, but when you're making stuff for Quest, you have to go into every asset and modify it in Blender. That's where Blender comes in.
Yeah.
But for first map makers, we don't recommend you learn Blender. We recommend you learn Unity and get familiar with that first. And that's why we recommend simple assets like that. I know every single person I've shown maps to has always said, I don't want my map looking like a generic Onward map. I would just recommend doing that for the first one, just so you learn. And a lot of new map makers that have said that have always ended up using that asset pack anyway. And there are a couple other free alternatives that we can use that are maybe a little bit more difficult if you really don't want to go that route. But yeah, I recommend learning the basics of Unity, then you learn Blender, and then you can make the Unity store your kingdom.
Yeah. No, I dig that. I mean, like, I've gone through it. There's a lot of cool stuff, and I've seen asset packages. I was like, man, this would be an awesome map, and just all the stuff that can be done and customized in it. I mean, you were showing me, just because it's that map doesn't mean that's the map that you push out to the game. I mean, you can move buildings around, take buildings away, and make your own lines and everything else. That's the cool part about it. So if one spot's too dominating, you can neuter that or nerf it and make it a more of an even playing field.
I did want to show too, it's not just about making sample scenes too. A lot of times you have to, in fact, very rarely you get an asset off the Unity store that a sample scene works so great for a map for it. That's why I love the Slums asset pack, because it basically came as like an already good map with a good layout, I thought. Whereas like this one is another pack by the same publisher, and the asset pack sample scene was just like a single line, so it wasn't really usable as a map. But it has some great assets, and I think you can probably recognize some of this too.
Yeah.
Let me know when someone gets it.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat, everybody. Let's see.
Well, Elmo's in here, so I know. I'm not trying to drop that too early.
Another one I can show you. Show you the next asset pack. Maybe it will spark some of your memories.
Oh, look, you can get dinosaurs. We can play Jurassic Park on Onward. What's up, baby? What's up?
No, I actually did put a Velociraptor in paintball one time.
That Volk nice. Painting still gets me. I know it's there. I know it's been there, but I still like come around the corner and I flinch on it every single time.
I just shoot it. I always end up doing it. I cannot. For the life of me, I always shoot it. Even if I know it's there.
There we
got
go.
one guess in the chat.
Yeah, Sanity got it. Who's that? I think that's Kiwi.
Yeah.
That Kiwi?
That is Kiwi Donna.
Yeah.
That is Kiwi.
So this is another asset pack, completely different asset pack, but I took pieces from each of those asset packs and built Rush Hour. If you haven't guessed by now. In fact, you can see right here. We go. You see the school bus?
Yeah.
I don't know if you recognize it, but this is actually the main street for Rush Hour right here. And these fences I kept, but I replaced this building. I replaced this. I put an overpass right here that was kind of like crumbling down. Took out this van, and these are the stairs that people were going up on for that last tournament. All that got ripped out and changed out for something new. So you can see, like, for me, it's about trying to create the coolest level possible with the least amount of resources, time included. So a lot of times I'm taking like pieces of sample scenes and kind of stitching them together.
Yeah.
In terms of level design. I can also show you.
Oh, look, Sanity's calling out Swamp. Did Swamp use some of those too in Aftermath?
I know I did use a third asset pack on Rush Hour that I believe Swamp used too.
Yeah.
Might be thinking of that one.
Mm-hmm.
We have some more assets on that one. I kind of ripped him off. I feel bad about that, Swamp.
It wasn't really mine to begin with, so it's
fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
You guys recognize this?
Yes, I do. I know where this came from.
Lou, you did this, didn't you? Didn't you pull this and start trying to mess around with it?
I was looking at it. I mean, the sample scene for this one is just so massive. I started making a level for it, and I was like, this is just way too open. It's going to take like 6-7 minutes to get across this, and it's just desert. I thought it wouldn't really make a good Onward map, despite a lot of people request that. A lot of people want like a good sniper map. Maybe I should create something like that, or we should create something like that. But it's so much work. And I just fear that it wouldn't play well, at least for uplink. And yeah, does that look familiar?
Like a grown-up downfall.
I already know where that is. I already know where that map is. I want to see if someone in chat can get it first, because I already know where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you haven't gotten this.
You haven't. This is one of Swamp's best maps he ever made, man. At least
wow, no, this is Downfall, dude.
Hell yeah.
That ain't
also,
best.
oh, wait a minute. No, this is... Oh, wait, no, that's not the asset pack. Oh, that is
the same asset pack.
You.
It's just, yeah, I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, yeah, Pestilence is mainly the same asset pack from Downfall.
Yeah.
And this is actually the sample scene of Downfall, which,
yeah, that was that
slower dumpster.
Yeah,
it's a
Center
lower dumpster building,
church.
Center Hotel. It's all the same spot.
Wouldn't it be cool if that's how Downfall really looked?
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, if that's what they're about to drop on this new update, that'd be phenomenal.
That'd be wild.
I think DPI gets a little scared of this stuff too, like people lying down in these bushes. They're thinking more about the layout, I think, than a lot of custom map makers. We're always going for the graphics, and I think there's pros and cons to each way. Ideally, you do both, but
Yeah.
Like putting those
Yeah.
HD
Yeah.
sunglasses on for the first time and looking at downfall.
That
100%.
is wild.
I did try to make the subway asset pack. I took the upstairs from, and I think I sent one video a while back where it was the upstairs part of let me see who gets this one. Come on.
Well, it's
Obviously,
right
can I
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Allie.
There's the fun. There's the fun alley
Yep.
right there.
Yep.
But
I'm gonna just say that.
yeah,
Here's
so
the name.
I did take this asset pack and I flipped it, I mirrored it, and then made like 2 upstairs of subway, and it's just like this long alley, and I thought that would have been really cool. I don't know. Let me know should I make that map? It's basically done, to be
Yup.
honest.
That'd look amazing.
Send it.
Yeah,
Send it.
man.
If it has a brutal.
Send that. Everyone would love it.
And the beauty of it too is for PCVR graphics, I can make it look just like this with the shaders and everything, where you have like the little bit of wet pavement and stuff. And I think that's one of the cool things us map makers can do, right? DPI is kind of restricted to like, what they're working on. They're kind of like on a fixed path going this way, and we can just like say, hey, wake up one day and say, what do I want to make today? And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Flexibility that DPI just simply can't match.
Yeah, but a lot of this is really, we kind of talked about it before the podcast started, talking about the SDK and everything, but essentially DPI gives us a framework that we're allowed to work in, right? That we kind of attach to our project in Unity. And so it isn't like, oh, well, let me just get this sample scene, put it in and upload it to Onward servers. A lot of time, and most of your time is spent not only just designing your map, but also, Bluega was talking about, tries and how much it could handle. That's the Onward custom content guide. But there's just so many levels when it comes to like shaders and meshes and LODs, and we can even talk a little bit about that, like what players see and what happens inside the headset when a player's running around and engaging with these maps.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, stuff you're doing.
No, go ahead. You were on the roll. Send it.
Yeah.
So we were also talking about showing what quotation hitboxes are, and how that comes into play with rounds and stuff like that, and how y'all can make these rounds penetrate certain things, and all that. Because I mean, I know there's a lot of people in game, and they're like, "Oh, he's cheating. How did he shoot me? Or how did he survive? I was center punching him, but he's sitting here shooting through a bush where he can visually see him, but he doesn't know all the invisible things that he's actually shooting through, or not even being able to penetrate, but he can visually see this player." So, Bluega, you got a shot of that?
Yeah. Let me. You want to see the collision on Rush Hour? Would that be a good one to show you on?
Yeah.
Let me pull that up.
Yeah, just show some clarity on that. So when they're playing this game, they're not thinking everybody's a cheater. They're just shooting into an invisible brick wall, pretty much. And now they understand the game. They understand the mechanics of this, and a little bit. I mean, you don't have to be a map maker to realize, hey, if I push too close to this, they're not able to make just the individual leaves bulletproof. It's more of an area.
Yeah, but we have the opportunity to control whether something is like wood or wood penetrable, or concrete or glass, and not only does that affect the hit, like the damage points when a bullet's going through it, but also the sound effect.
Yeah.
Right. And then that kind of lays on top of what's called like a mesh, which is what Bluega is about to show you, and he could kind of tell you there's basically every object has several different components to it, and he could show it now.
Yeah, here it is. Here's that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So you guys can see my screen.
Yep.
So all right, so this is this is rush hour, and if I were to click on like a individual object, I will turn off the selection wire, and I will turn on this so you can see. I don't know if you can see these little boxes in here, the little green boxes.
Yeah.
But these are impenetrable boxes. Whereas for the object itself, it uses like a mesh collider on the actual object. So this entire object is considered metal penetrable, and then these 3 boxes are considered metal impenetrable. And furthermore, if like these cars, again, like this car is considered metal penetrable, and as well as the doors. And now each layer that bullet travels through takes 25% of its damage off, up to a maximum of 4 layers. So after 4 layers, it'll do 0 damage. So if a bullet, by separating out the colliders and stuff like that, we can make it so that if a bullet travels through this car door, this seat, and then this car door, it's losing 75% of its damage. And similarly, like the hood, you know, however many different objects it's traveling through. In addition to that, I also put it in a game object, which has a impenetrable box collider. I'm not seeing that one real quick, but yeah, you can see.
And just to showcase, before in the very beginning, those boxes he was showing, the reason he was putting in there, that's the engine block.
Yeah.
So there. Yeah, so he's replicating like, oh, like a bullet won't go through the engine block, so I'm gonna put this here.
Yeah, so I mean, when I tell people that, like when we're in pub lobbies, they're like, "How do they shoot me? I was on the other side of that car," and I'm like, "Bro, like you don't know a Bluega map. A Bluega map's like hyper realistic. I mean, if you can shoot through it, bullet's gonna go through it for real, just like it would in real life. Yep. I mean, I'm trained that the engine block is where you go behind to stop a round." And
like, him and I were talking about that recently, and he pointed something out to me that I never really thought of. But yeah, try it. He says this prevents jiggle peeking. I was like, oh shit, I guess it does.
If someone's jiggle peeking like this fence right here, you can just shoot them right through the fence.
Yeah.
The other thing for a while I was thinking about making it so players can get up on top of this roof here. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
That would
let me know, yes or no.
I think that would be a good idea, especially instead of nerfing that area on the other side of that road. Now you're putting a little bit of long distance, but it's not too powerful because you have the grass and the stoplights you're penetrating through.
Right there. I was worried about people head peeking this thing. So what I did is I put in some fences like here. Originally, at least when I was thinking, I just kind of left them there. But my thought process was to stop head peeking, right? If you just peek your head slightly over this, they just shoot you right through the fence.
Yeah. And that's awesome how y'all see how people are exploiting and y'all's workaround to you can still do it, but it's not going to be that efficient anymore.
Yeah, so he could control that. He could control just those fences right there and say, make these fences bulletproof. And then he could go to the same set of fences somewhere else on the map and say, make these penetrable.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I try not to do that best I can because, in fact, I don't know if I ever have, but you want some consistency. But yeah.
Right. But just for like example of the control that we could have when it comes to that.
Yeah, you have full control over everything.
Yeah, isometrics was the one. Oh, right there. Go to the right with the match. Nope.
With the match?
Yeah, right there. Straight ahead. Nope. To the right. That yellow sign to your left. Yeah, right there. That's the sign that isometric he translated that. That's in Polish.
I never even noticed that.
But I forgot exactly what it was. He was just in here in the chat. Hopefully he can do it. But it was like it's flammable due to the debris laying around, and it fits perfect with that map.
We got Pennsylvania license plates in Poland.
Yeah. You show a mesh collider. would you mind going to the to anything and showing like a mesh collider, and we could just kind of explain because this
Um,
is what people are mostly talking about when they say hitboxes.
like the Smash Collider, you mean, or
Yeah.
you want me to show the physics to Bugger?
Well, we're gonna give Indie Couch PTSD over these wire spools. After that last match, he was heated.
So
Oh yeah.
Oh, there it is. Untidiness, a risk of fire. That's what that translates to. So, fun fact about your map. Boom.
That's amazing.
right next to some burned down buildings.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
that-
because it's untidy.
Untidy.
Yeah.
Who knew? Who could have guessed that?
Someone who knows Polish.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, I was talking about who could have guessed an untidy building is like right by the burnt out buildings in the trash.
Oh
You know
yeah,
that was untidy. That's an amazing map. Still one of my personal favorites.
You know what? I gotta show this clip right quick. 1 minute. This is a clip that that Bluega made. Here it is.
Oh, that is amazing.
And
I would still love that.
yeah, so that's going in the asset package for the OCML finals. I'm gonna put that in there just because I'm like, this is it's a combination of what map makers see and how they're building these maps and how players see the map, and it's two different genres of the same game just coming together. I mean, y'all are over here competing on who has the best map making abilities, and then the players are playing on these maps, and it's a perfect marriage, really. So
It is. It's tricky though, and I really want to thank the staff like and Skyler and Ruby and Kiwi and Jack and Panda and everybody because it's tough. I mean, it's a hard thing because we know these maps aren't perfect, and we know
Yeah.
there are going to be glitches and stuff. So and when people start playing at a competitive level and they start dying in an unfair way, they're going to be upset, right? So it's like, how do you kind of handle that? Um, so, at the OCML, it's, I don't know, like we're not, I don't want to say we're not serious. We are serious, but we're definitely
serious.
kind of coming, we're coming at this. Yeah, it is a more lighthearted approach. These aren't like super finished, super polished maps. Like this is a testing zone. But we're inviting the community in and trying to keep it as structured and I guess organized as possible. But
Fun
Yeah.
way for players
And-
map
yeah,
makers.
it's just like a team of a team, nested in Meta Labs, like working on one map day in and day out. A lot of us are just learning how to do this stuff, and then I thank Blue for all the time he's given up for the community and just helping us and everybody. Virus is super knowledgeable. Evolution, I mean, I'm not, when I came into this, I come from a design background, but I don't come from like a more of a techie background, so a lot of this stuff was kind of difficult for me to wrap my head around. I knew how to make things look good, but
yeah,
kind of like understanding how this stuff works, that was lots of times is like a foreign language to me.
Yeah, we're really not even scratching the surface of all the stuff you need to learn. I'm not trying to scare anyone away either. It's totally stuff you can learn, and I think it's actually like a really great skill to learn. Like people go to school for 4 years to learn this stuff that we're just kind of picking up from other community members for free. I mean, I learned off like Virus taught me a lot, Co's Evolution, there's a million other names. It's just it's a great way to get like a free skill set that people pay a lot of money for to get college degrees for to learn the same stuff. So it's a great place to pick that sort of stuff up.
yeah. So I mean, like, especially when you are playing these maps, be sure to give some likes to them. I mean, like, I got to give props out to Rosa because she's the one who made Waterworld, right? And that's
Yep.
that's her first map. I mean, that map is phenomenal. I mean, it has details.
Yeah, and you got to see your second map.
Yeah.
Can I show some pictures of it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Man.
I think
That
it's
is
Here,
4 months
let's
on
go over to the
Waterworld.
video cut. Oh, let's get rid of that. There we go.
She just sent me a couple of screenshots.
Oh, we're bringing it back to
So-
the Flintstones, baby. Yabba
Yeah.
dabba do.
Yeah.
Isn't it gonna be cool, man?
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this
about
one.
this.
And
I can't wait.
yeah, I think going from Waterworld to this, I think Rose is showing a lot of promise. Like these,
Yeah.
for people's first maps, these are like miles above what most people are putting out. She's really put in a lot of work. I think the first map took like several months to produce, but this new map she made in like under a month. It's like each map. I found out that each map you make, it takes like half the time the previous map.
Yeah. I think Virus made progression in like a day.
Yeah, he said 8 hours.
Which
Yeah,
is
that's
way.
a good looking map right there. I mean,
I'm
mean,
really excited for this one.
a different
absolutely.
scenery, and it's just something that small that really changes the game. So it's like every time you put your headset on and play one of these new custom maps, it's like a brand new game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same downfall. I mean, even League players, now that they're trying to incorporate more of these custom maps into their map pools. I mean, it changes the aspect of the game, and it feels new again, and it keeps the life force in the game. I mean, they've kept Minecraft around for how many 20 plus years? How old's Minecraft? I mean,
Oh man, you're making me feel old.
but I mean, like, yeah, I mean, if Minecraft can
They
stay
feel old.
around, and I mean, yeah, they've added shaders and stuff like that, and made it look crazy awesome. But it's still squares. It's digital Legos. I mean, we can do a lot to keep this game alive, especially with map makers like yourself and being able to share y'all's knowledge.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
DPI is doing it too. I mean, with the new update coming out and
Yeah.
and trying to keep the game new, exciting, relevant. We're going to have skins, the ability to crawl up ladders, which I think we've kind of always had the ability to do that, but it was in one map.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was in a couple actually.
yeah. That was more of like an elevator, but now it's actually I'm actually kind of excited to see like how they're gonna implement that in the SDK.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
is
yeah.
it just gonna be like points that we put on where they have to grab? Because then we can do stuff like climbing ropes
Yeah.
and stuff like that,
Oh,
which I think would
that.
be really cool.
Oh,
So are y'all excited about this update? I mean, I know like when updates come out, y'all have to go and redo maps because there's changes.
Yeah.
So
it depends.
it-
Yeah.
it's a lot of work, but a major update. I mean, are y'all more excited, or y'all like, oh, here we go, all this hard work, now I have to go touch up all these little bugs that got added to it? Like,
I
what's
think we
y'all's-
can talk about the three things Arsenide said, right? The custom map channel. He gave us a hint about the next update. It was he said in the next SDK we're going to be adding support for blank, blank, and blank. And he gave us the like characters. I think it was 14, 8, and 9 characters. He said ladders wasn't one of them. So I know that there's a lot coming out with this update. I don't know what it's going to be. But I thought, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot coming
Who's ready to
for,
play
for us map
Hangman?
makers too. Yeah, right.
I'm ready to play some Hangman, baby, right here on the Brutal Cast. Let's figure out these words.
yeah,
We've been
do it.
talking about it for
Do
weeks. If you get something, you're like, that's got to be it. Let us know. But they also said some of them might be something we're not expecting. So I don't know. I kind of gave up on it.
It's the anticipation that's killing us all, but hopefully we do get some answers pretty soon. Wink, wink.
You can interrogate
Yeah.
next week.
So, but yeah. So, are there any other maps y'all want to show off, or this is y'all's plug? I mean, right now this is y'all's time to shine, baby. I mean, y'all can put out whatever.
I got yours up, Swamp, if you want.
Yeah, I'm launching a new map Wednesday, Lenovo. This one's going to be interesting. And I will say this. So just to kind of go back to kind of what we were talking about with testing maps. You know, that's one of the unfortunate situations that we're in when we build a map. You can't really test a map by yourself in free roam, right?
Yeah.
So you got to kind of like, I I think a spawn should go here, and I'm pretty sure this is a good place for an uplink, and you're kind of in this place until it actually gets played. Now this is the map that I'm playing. So just really quickly, one of the problems I had to solve is this town is really fun. All the buildings, there's lots of cuts, like and immediately I want to just put all the gameplay in the town. Um, but there are these mountains on the side, right? And that surround the map where it's like these are just great sniping opportunities. Like, how do I get players up into these mountains? So it'd be weird if they like spawn in the town and have to run up the mountain. It'd also be weird if they spawn on top of the mountain and have to run down. They're just going to be getting shot.
Yeah.
So I don't, and this is kind of like part of the fun of building this map. One of the spawns, I don't know how it's going to work, but the uplink is in the town and the spawn is on the other side of the mountain. So they could go to the left side of the mountain, the right side of the mountain, or over the mountain to come into the town and infiltrate the town and send the uplink. So again, don't know how that's going to play out, but it could be super cool, you know? Yeah, this comes out Wednesday.
So
this is
I've
So-
seen it. I'm really excited for this one too.
I need to know this big tower in the middle.
I had to stop it. Dude.
Are we gonna
I had to.
Are we gonna be able to
No.
penetrate this building and utilize them windows?
No, I had to stop it, man. It's you could go all the way to the roof, but if you get up there, man, there's just no stopping you. So
Yeah,
I put
but
in
yeah,
a visible wall on the third floor. I had to.
So
It's too much, man. What do y'all call it? When position's too overpowered.
it's just it's a money spot. That's the money spot right there.
Blue
But
said it yesterday.
Yeah.
OP.
OP.
Yeah.
It's too OP.
He said it's too
Yeah.
overpowered.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, well, you kind of said it.
so like
Yeah.
But that's like risking it for the brisket, really. I mean, in my opinion, because if you have it and you're setting up these objectives and spots to where you have what I call in Brutalcast blind cap spots, where you can cap that's shielded from that vantage. It's a weak point to that spot. And I mean, if you're pot committed in the top floor, you got to shag it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people
Right.
that cap that, hey, if it doesn't matter if I'm jumping down those stairs, they're still going to get that objective
Oh.
sent before I make it. So, I mean, that's really risking it for the brisket. I mean,
Yeah,
if someone
well,
can
that's-
stealth and crawl and avoid those lines, then absolutely. I mean, that spot's really not the money spot to be in.
Well, that's the fun part too, though, like laying out the uplinks and
Yeah.
everything, because you really got to think. Like when I design a map, I'm really kind of going through and I'm creating routes. Like, okay, if I spawn here, what would it be like? Okay, I'm putting an uplink here. Where would I place defenders? And I'll always try to. I mean, my latest rule of thumb is at least provide at a very minimum 3 different ways to an uplink.
Yep.
That's just where I've been at lately. You know. It just, yeah, because I've done it before. Yeah, because you really gotta, I think one thing that I've been really kind of realizing and thinking about is rotations, and you always have to provide an ability for a player to rotate to another position on the map
Yeah.
and come in a different way in order for it to be fun, right?
Yeah.
Like the player needs to have options while he's
Yeah.
playing.
So
So
one thing that I've seen in Abandon and that I really like and it's really challenging is the 360 spawn opportunity. So instead of just spawning on one side of the map, they're coming from either the east or the west or however it's oriented, north or south. They're coming from that general direction. But like in maps like Abandon, you have to scan 360 to get these spawn identified. And I mean, you can really lopside your defense on those. And
That's sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, but that's a real challenging aspect. I mean, that I would like to see more of that because that does challenge the players.
yeah.
But I know K9 when he was first making his maps, that's something he had told me. He's like, all these maps are like so linear, like front to back, but nothing's like you hold something in the center. And if you want to know, that's actually the original inspiration for his first map, Hold the Fort.
Mhm.
If you ever played it,
Yep.
he wanted a map where you start in the center and you have to defend the space. And I think he's actually done that in some of those later maps too. Country House, same idea. Now I know these may not play well for Uplink, but they're made for Assault, and I think they do a pretty good job with that, or for
Yeah.
that goal. I think Country House was actually updated recently too. I kind of want to try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to know, it's not our fault the AI don't move. I don't want to say it's not our fault, but we can't test whether they move or not until we launch the map and it's live.
Yeah, that's a bug with Onward. I have confidence they'll get that fixed. But trust me, I've been harassed every month
Yeah.
about it for like
Yeah.
a year.
So when it's like, Swamp, your spawn, the AI aren't moving. I'm like, well, it's news to me because I don't even know until you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
So do you think I should show off Jackhart's map?
yeah, man.
I'm ready for
This
it.
Oh
is-
yeah,
this
that one. You gotta
this is
show
gonna be
that one.
cool.
So, go ahead
this
with it.
I do want to preface this one. What you're seeing here is how he sent me the map like a month or two ago. He just sent it to me and was like asking if had any suggestions on the layout or things he should do. I think he was kind of struggling with that because this is a prison map if you haven't figured it out yet. And
Coming from law
of course, it's the
enforcement,
bathroom.
prisons are designed to keep people within a certain confined area. That's just how they're designed. So, and the possibilities are endless, really.
This map is massive, and it's just a giant prison. I think I made a couple edits to it, but I don't.
Oh,
This
he's
isn't
got
the
it
edited
looking good
version.
now. He was showing it to me last week.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that in the community, like custom app discussion channels. It was, oh wow.
This map is massive. I can just keep going and going and going, and you'll never hit the end of it. So I think he's trying to actually, like, normally, I think a lot of people see a map like this and they get excited and they want to make it as is. Like, why lose any of this detail? But in reality, like, maps typically play better if you kind of like limit them a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially with ones like this where you have different floors. I'm kind of waiting for the stream to catch up. But basically, there's different, like, this whole entire map has 2 floors. And you'll see me going up and down between them.
I need
But
casters
it's
to be able to do that.
yeah. It's the hearing people through a floor, it really kind of is a big deal in Onward, especially if it's like 2 floors right up on top of each other like this. It's I don't know if I should talk about this, but we were talking, like, you do hear people like that are above you a lot louder, and it sounds like they're right on top of you, because when you're standing 6 feet up in the air and the other person above you, their feet are right on the ground, it sounds like their feet are right above you because there's no sound occlusion between the floors. So I always recommend for new maps, always try to keep it one level, very linear. And you can have like multiple elevations, but just try not to put like areas under the other elevations, because then it ruins the sound.
Awesome. Now, since you heard it here from Bluega, there's really no advantage to height glitch anymore. Boom. Said it.
Yeah.
There's a very good question in chat by Isometric if you want to answer that, Bluega.
Will AI development help future map builds? Maybe automate building entire maps, minimize the amount of polygons, or maybe some AI procedural generation is something like map creators can anticipate. There is actually a whole thing I wanted to talk about in this podcast that we didn't really touch on.
We'll touch it.
Should I talk about my tool?
Touch it.
You think?
Touch all over it. Send it.
Yeah, so I don't
Absolutely.
like to tell new map makers about this, but I do want you to know that it exists on the horizon. Last month I took like 3 weeks off work and I used AI to create a tool. I'm actually a coder, kind of by trade. And I do a lot of practicing with stuff like that. Anyway, Unity uses C#, and I spent a while writing. I think it was like in total it was probably 20,000 lines of code, creating this tool that kind of automates the whole map creation. Remember how we talked about the polygons and how everything's made out of triangles? This will automatically reduce it so that reduce the number of polygons stuff is made by to make it run on quests. It will automatically set up the colliders for you and all the physics materials, like we were talking about wood penetrable or metal penetrable. This will have like a little prompt, and you just kind of click through and say, this is wood, this is metal, this is whatever. And you go through the whole scene, and it sets all this stuff up for you. It optimizes your lightings for the best possible lighting that you can get. There's really a whole lot that I would have to teach you Unity for to really make this make sense to you. But yeah, I use ChatGPT to write like all that code. It's something that if I was doing it by hand, it would have taken me a year to do. So AI, yes, it's been a huge help in this industry, not just in that, but also in creating custom graphics. A lot of times they'll have it like touch up textures, and there's all sorts of stuff it can do. I know a Shipwreckd, you were using it for some of your custom music and stuff. Even
I can't sing like that.
Yeah, we can even make like custom sound effects with it that maybe we wouldn't know how to.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of I wouldn't say it's going to automate the entire map creation, although I have seen stuff like that in Unreal. They are doing some things like that, like with node-based map generation, where it follows a flowchart to decide where the trees are going to go. So I've seen like it develop forests and things like that. I think stuff like that is possible. I don't see it realistically happening for Onward anytime in the near future. Maybe not 5 to 10 years out even. But as like an assistant to us creating maps, I think it does wonders. This tool that I created, it let me pump out Rush Hour in a weekend, whereas normally that would take a month or so.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, you really got to know Unity before you dive into something like that. But I consider it like a stepping process. Learn Unity, learn how to use simple assets to create a map, then go into complicated assets, and then learn how to use Blender to simplify those, and then learn scripting, which lets you automate all the above. Yeah, or use pre-existing scripts that we've written. But I can tell you, if you just run it, you will have issues, and you won't know how to fix them unless you know the other two things first.
You gotta crawl before you walk.
Pretty much,
And then
yeah.
with that, you can run, and boom, you can problem solve. So.
Dang right. Also, yes, sanity. And to all the staff who worked in the OCML, you all get a gold star for the performance in it. However, your work is not yet done, as we still got the semifinals and the finals to come up too. Sorry to cut you all off of that main sentence.
I want a special casting marker. That's what I want.
That would be cool.
That'd be cool. You want to talk about a little bit about some of the things that we have planned over there, Skyler?
Oh yes, I am fine with that. We also have a partnership with OCL. If you have checked our announcements and the OCL announcements, just got the paintballs in the brutal cast. The map that is ranked the best in the poll will be officially put in the OCL pool for their custom maps, which is incredibly amazing. Sorry, incredibly amazing. I cannot speak for the life of me tonight. However, this March, we also have an assault tournament planned. I'm not going to go into too much detail as it's still being in development. However, Jackar and Panda AOD are going to be really in the lead for that one, and I'm excited for it. We also got many future uplink tournaments planned, as well as continued partnerships with OCL and other leagues, if they so wish.
And
I'm
DPI,
excited.
their support.
As well as we have a close partnership with DPI. They are going to be giving a purple marker to a map creator, the map creator that has the most votes that currently does not have a marker. So, Bluega, Swamp, they have a marker. The runner-up after that would get the marker instead, so it's fair for everyone involved. However, It's gonna be crazy. We got a prize pool, $150 for the team that wins the January Brawl, and $150 for the map crew. We also partnered with, what is the name of it fully? I'm trying to think. We have partnered with High Society for people over the age of 21, so not me or some of the other people. If you are in a legal state, you'll be able to have a like cannabis sponsorship as well as a negotiation. I'm not a leading expert on that one. That is more pandas that's more pandas thing. However, I thought I should bring that up on the Brutal Podcast so everyone is made aware.
Yep. You heard it here. So, I mean, no, the stuff y'all are doing over there is amazing. I mean, that's why I volunteered my help, gave y'all an asset package.
Thank you.
And y'all got y'all's AI song also. So that hits pretty hard.
I listen to that in my own playlist. You should put it out on Spotify or Amazon or something. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. I did want to say, this is also a space, and Ship and I talked about before. I mean, if you're starting off casting and you want to kind of come into a place and you know, I think this would be a good spot to come and try to polish your skills and learn how to be a caster. As these maps oftentimes are in the same development, it kind of makes sense. So we invite that,
Yeah, and I mean they get experience. Yeah, they get experience using asset packages. So I mean that's what these leagues are looking for, people with experience utilizing these larger asset packages. I mean, not just switching scenes and stuff like this. I mean, I'm looking at a stream deck with, I mean, just 50 plus buttons just for the Brutal Cast, and there's not a lot going on from what the viewers see, but on the back end, I'm over here just clacking away on buttons, making sure everything's going smooth, and it's 10 times more challenging in a cast because you have so much going on with commentating the game, watching the game, following the camera angles, and then switching the assets, making sure the scenes are on point and the score's on point, everything. It's a lot. So that baby step, just like Bluega was talking about, those baby steps, knowing how to do everything from a small, just a cast where there's no asset package to a cast with a smaller asset package, and then a full-on league asset package. It's going to put them in that first step in the right direction on becoming an official caster or something.
I'll learn how to crawl before you learn how to run. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
And we absolutely encourage it. I know some of my rants kind of sound a little incoherent. That's an apology of mine, but I'm genuinely excited about this. I'm excited about the future to come. Also, I forgot to mention, like, comment, and subscribe to the Brutal Podcast.
Yep. I forget to say that.
You do amazing work, Shipwreckd. Thanks again for this.
Oh yeah, no problem. I mean, we gotta get y'all in there. Go ahead, Skyler.
Yes, Sanity put up a very good question. Yes, the legal age of consent in your area. That is what you would have to have.
Yep.
If you are like 16-year-old, you're not getting weed. I'm sorry for you, but no, that's a no-no. And we have like actual checkers and ID checkers for that. So that's not going to fly.
All right, so here's, I may be putting y'all on the spot, and this is Swamp and Blue's question. So, out of y'all's maps, what would y'all, out of all the maps y'all have created, which one would you want in a map pool, and why?
Oh boy, you could go first.
Oh man. Of my maps, I would say my favorite map is Slums. I think it plays the best. I think the layout's great. And this isn't me patting myself on the back. This is me patting the people who made the asset pack. You guys saw the asset pack. I really didn't do much for that one. I changed the layout in a couple areas, I think, for the better. just to make it work a little bit better for Onward. But I spent a lot of time polishing that one. I also spent a lot of time polishing Cul-de-sac, although I don't like the layout of Cul-de-sac as much as Slums, which means that the asset pack creator has a better eye for that stuff than I do, if anything. Yeah, I did like playing Rush Hour and OCML. I think that there's nothing wrong with that map either. Of my maps, so I'd say those are the three that are probably polished for league play. I think Rush Hour has a couple things that need to be tweaked, but Slums and Cul-de-sac have been around for a long time. There's very little bugs. I only know of one in Slums right now, but it only affects Firefight. And if anybody can prove me wrong, please send me a message with the bug and I'll see if I can get it fixed.
And
But,
if you
yeah.
do that, I'll send you a blue sharpie marker. What's up? Boom.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, okay, yeah. I love Slums. I love one of my favorite maps of Bluega is Tanglewood, but that one is not on the list, unfortunately. But that's one of my favorites. I love the jungle maps. I've always craved, like, I don't know, just like jungle maps. But definitely Slums, 100%. And for me, I don't know, man, it's kind of tough. I'm not in a place yet where I'm really feeling like anything that I've made so far has been like I really stand on. East Village is showing promise, but even then, it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I just know I got a lot of room to grow. I wanted Pestilence to really be that map, but I think I learned a lot. I learned a lot about layout. I learned a lot about making layouts too big in that map. It's a good map.
Yeah, I think you're selling yourself way short on there.
Yeah.
You are absolutely selling
Well,
yourself
that's
way
where
too short.
I mean, well, I guess feeling like that is what drove me to make Aftermath. I was like, okay, well, I did something really big. Let me make something really small, and then I did Aftermath. And then when I was doing East Village, I love the layout of East Village. Even now with these new alleys, I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm not 100% crazy about how I handled the steam room yet, and maybe I'll rebuild that at some point, but and make it look just a little bit more I don't know. Part of it just kind of feels like it doesn't fit with the upstairs enough from like a design standpoint. But yeah, I think East Village would be the one that I continue to push. I hope this Lenovo map's super cool. We'll see. But I think East Village is probably the one that you could develop the most strats on.
Yeah, no, I love East Village 100%.
You know?
I love the steam room. Uh, just because I almost aced Animal House on it.
Well, talk about map evolution. You cannot start as of Wednesday. You won't be able to shoot through that great floor anymore.
Yeah. But
Right, yeah.
still, I mean, that spot, they weren't even looking at that spot, and I wound up casting them that next week on East Village, and they were very quick to check that angle.
Oh, I
And
bet.
they were like,
Oh, I bet.
we learned our lesson the first time. Ship showed us a valuable lesson. But yeah, I mean, cul-de-sac, that has the Brutal Cast TV in it. I love that. And I've only been killed in that building once, so that's like my fortified zone. I feel like I have protection in there, so I think thanks Bluega for the extra coding for that. I think someone was glitching me and killed me in there accidentally, but
Yeah.
but no, East Village. I really like East Village. I like seeing these maps and how the strats develop over time. It goes from the obvious, let's just push down the road, hugging the walls, to, oh, we have, I mean, all the little minor details in that map for defense. You have the little holes in the brick walls, and then you have the alleyways. I mean, now they're venturing out into those alleyways. I've only seen a few people really utilize those little hole in the walls on that map, but I think it's going to pick up a whole lot more, especially after the OCML tournaments.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now James R. I don't know if that's James Bogue, but I'm pretty sure it is. He just mentioned slums and cul-de-sac are in the VRML thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
boosh.
also going to really stress test East Village for you.
Yeah. No, I mean it's been going.
I mean, it's been stress tested really good. So
Yeah,
if you haven't seen ML stuff, but
even as a caster watching East Village and also playing it, I mean, I really haven't seen. I've already started to see a lot of meta positions formed that are going to be the meta for that. But the play style, you have those multiple avenues, and I've got a sneak peek. Oh yeah, that's Minion. But the sneak peek of what's new about to drop on that map, I mean, I think is going to be that much better for real.
Yeah.
But cul-de-sac's my favorite. I do like that one.
I love cul-de-sac.
And
I love all the
slums.
maps you mentioned.
Yeah, slums is another amazing map. So
I can show you. By the way, I'm not sure how many people play on
oh
PC here, but I can show you the Tanglewood PC version and why that. I know Swamp said he likes it, but this map I'd never considered competitive ready just because the differences are so drastic.
oh, you got some of them Flintstone plants in there too. Look at that. Those are some crazy looking plants.
Yeah, I think the lighting's actually gone right now. I sorry, I didn't have like time to bake lighting before this, but the lighting should look a lot better than this, I thought.
So let
Or
me
maybe-
explain this to the non-map makers. When you bake light and it's not a moving object, that shadow's always going to be there. So when you bake the light, that shadow doesn't have to move. So just bake the shadows into it. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
that's another misconception that most people have. They assume that real-time lighting is better because it's like, real-time calculating the lighting. But it's actually not. Baked lighting is vastly superior to real-time lighting. And the reason is because I can have my graphics card either think about the lighting in real time, or I can tell it to sit here for the next 3 hours and think about what the lighting should look like for this stuff. And then you get like much more accurate. It casts more rays to try and like calculate what the lighting would look like, and it literally just will think about that for 3 hours straight, and then say this is what the lighting should look like for these objects. And that's why we use baked lighting. It is more efficient. It also runs on less processing power, but yeah, it also looks better. It's a win-win, right? But so if you look at like the best games out there today, the AAA games, Half-Life Alyx, stuff like that, they will actually use a combination of baked lighting and real-time lighting. And the real-time lighting is used for the dynamic objects like the players and the weapons. As they move around the map, their lighting needs to change. Whereas everything else that is not moving, use baked lighting for, and that gives you the best possible looking graphics you can get. We don't use any real-time lighting, and that's another limitation of the Quest. We do some tricks to fake it, which I won't get into. I could go on about that for hours too, but
and then
I know
another trick to help optimize this processing power and the triangles is the LODs. So the LODs are so when you're a certain distance, and you'll see this in the map, and this does come into play, especially in when you're playing against somebody. So like if there's a LOD that triangulates, so you lose a lot of these curves because it's less triangles, so it's more poly or lower poly. You even though your player model, you're hiding, and they see that, and then but because their LOD is so far away, that player may be exposed, and then when they move up closer and that LOD smooths out, they're no longer visible.
yeah, so I can show you some examples here. If I turn on the wireframe, you can see the actual triangles that make up this tank here. And then as my camera moves away, you can see it changes to something simpler. And I move further away, it changes to something really simple. Now, if I were to click off it, you can't really even tell that it's changing. but that saves a ton of processing power. That's one of the things we have to do as map makers, and when you do go in and learn Blender, you learn how you can actually create these yourself.
Because like up close and you see them in that low poly state, you're just like, what is that? Like that don't even look like a cylinder. It looks like someone crumbled up a piece of paper. But from a distance, you're not seeing those details. Now when you're up closer, you see those fine details. And
I can show you like this simple one versus the most complex one. You can see here it's like very, not smooth shaped. When you get up close, it changes to that one.
yeah.
But yeah, we're doing stuff like that over almost on a lot of maps. It's like most objects will have that on it.
Look at me talking like I'm a map maker. Y'all should give me
even in the yeah.
Make me a purple
in the chats when we're doing it.
Purple crayon or something. I'm not full marker yet.
Yeah, that's what should happen. Hey, I'm fine with that. I'd love a purple crayon myself.
Yeah, and this is a super sneak peek, something that you're working on.
Yeah, I kind of didn't want to show it off on this podcast just because it's so early, but I'm trying to make like a Panama Canal type map. I think this still has a lot of work to go.
We all have faith in
yeah. Yeah, this is
You
gonna.
always have faith in Bluega.
This is how they start, though. This is how they start looking, and then
This
soon
is how they start.
Anglewood, as far as like detail.
This is probably like, for me, this was probably 5 or 6 hours worth of work, something like that, to give you an idea.
Yeah, these things take a long. I couldn't even tell you how much time I'm putting in the maps, and I mean it's an insane amount of time. I know. I don't know if we're making it seem too simple. Like you get this asset pack off the store and you just kind of, but
There's so much that goes into it. Yeah, there's so much. We're scratching the surface, but we're happy to teach you. That's what we're here for. You won't be able to figure it out by yourself, I promise you.
So I got to ask you a question, Blue, because I've seen a lot of your maps. I've sat in a lot of VCs. You've educated me on a lot of this. How many of these maps do you have that no one has ever seen in game?
Oh man.
I mean, you put all this work and effort into this, and you're like, oh, I want to go a different direction. Let me just start over, and then you just open up a new project.
Yeah, a lot of them start off as like I mean, do you want me to show the one I was showing earlier? This is a map that I made and I've never released. It's pretty much done though. I'm still sharing my screen, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's some issues with this one too. I need to work out, but basically I made this whole map and then I started realizing the scale of things was way off. Like this truck here, a person's about this tall. Then you come over with these pallets and you're like, wow, these are massive pallets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm as tall as this crate here. This handle right here is as big as my arm. It's sometimes you don't realize that stuff. Like these were taken from a different asset pack, so they're actually normal sized. But then you have to put it next to like that, it just looks tiny.
Well, that's holding 55-gallon drums right there.
Yeah, I did my first test run on this map, and I walked around in it, and I was just like, this just doesn't feel right.
Okay.
Some places I feel like.
So, let me cut in because I know a lot of people ask, especially playing on what's that Call of Duty map? Dead End or whatever.
Yeah.
So they have those
Newtown Cloud Bio or which one? Which one?
No, it's not cul-de-sac.
Terminal?
No, it's the dead end street with the 2 houses with the bus and the 18-wheeler.
Yeah, that's called. Sorry, that is what's it called? That is
Dead End.
Newtown Cod Bio.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's it.
So that has
It's
those awkward balls, those pink balls like we just saw in that hallway, Blue. Can you explain why that happens? Because it's trippy on the eyes. Well, I know. I just want you to explain it.
Yeah, so Onward uses a universal render pipeline, which is basically one of the two major like pipelines for Unity. It's usually HDRP or URP. And when you buy an asset pack off the Unity store or get an asset from wherever, you get these shaders on it. And depending on which pipeline that they're made for, they have to be like, that's another thing we haven't even got into, right? You can like
Yeah.
create your own shaders. I'm going to get really complex here at this point. This is basically like a flow chart that visualizes the code that it runs. But every shader is basically a different combination of flowchart things. And some of these nodes might only work in URP versus sometimes they only work in HDRP. And if you use a shader that isn't made for the pipeline you're in, but by the way, there's a third branch, but we don't talk about it. And but yeah, if you use one that's not made for the pipeline that you're in, it will show up magenta like this. I actually don't know why it's showing like that. Something seems to have gotten screwed up with this files. Like this isn't even the right texture for this box. But something got screwed up with this project. I would need to take some time looking at this, but I made it a few months ago and haven't gone back. But yeah, anyway, it's just because the material is incompatible with with universal render pipeline, which is what we use for Onward. I might have gone way over the top there, but
Well, no, a lot of people ask, and they're like, "Why are these balls like in the back garden tripping me out?" And now everybody knows, thanks to Beluga, his vast knowledge.
Absolutely.
back in the day, it used to be instant failure when you try to submit your map. Every week, DPI comes in and approves our map updates, and if you used an incompatible shader, they would instantly fail it. They've gotten a little bit more lenient on that stuff lately, but there was like a couple maps where people have done it intentionally just to kind of like show how cool it looks. And there have been instances where DPI was like, okay, it's cool how you used it there. Like one fun fact I bet you guys didn't know is there is a hidden guy somewhere on Dry Run. And if you look through these two doors and look through the crack between the two doors, you'll see a guy staring at you, and his eyeballs are incompatible shaders, so they glow magenta like that.
That's cool.
I won't tell you where. I'll let someone find it. But yeah. Another fun fact about that map: you can actually get on top of the radio tower through a passageway of invisible walls that leads up there. Invisible walkways. I'll let you guys try to figure that one out too.
Roger that. Roger that.
I might have to take you up on that.
What else? There was one more thing. Oh yeah, so ISO metric said something about having AI friendly bots spawn. I wanted to call Jack Hart out on his just phenomenal prank on everybody. On his map where it had the Marsoc player. Was it Marsoc or Volk? I think it was Marsoc. Running across the center of the map.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for Outpost.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a little bit too big.
Yeah. But still, like, I'm sitting there, I wasn't expecting. Blue gave me a little heads up on it, and I go in, I'm playing this map, and all of a sudden I turn around and I just see this humongous Marsoc running at me. So I just like unload, and I'm like, I'm not like, what is going on with this? And like, and he just runs around in a circle, and I was just like, that trips me out. And then, but it's fun. I mean, I've talked to Elmo, and I gave him an idea. I'm not gonna spoil that, but that's gonna be a fun one for sure. Some fun little pranks and Easter eggs put in the maps. That's what I love about it. The little shout outs, especially East map. I mean, I'll point them all out during my cast for sure. So. But
yeah,
but no, I think that's. Oh, go ahead. You got something else?
I was gonna say there's some really cool stuff you can do with like shaders and whatnot when you really dive deep into it. I had one map where this was more of like a concept, but I made a shader that where stuff is invisible unless you shine a real-time light on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now Onward doesn't really use real-time lights, but they do on the flashlights. So we can make objects that are invisible and only show up when you shine a flashlight at them. I think that's kind of cool. I'm trying to remember Swamp. I don't know if you remember where I shared that video of the spider. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It'd be kind of
Yeah,
cool
when
to
you
show
showed that, I
that.
saw it.
You might have DM'd it to me.
So explain the Halloween map, Lou. I think that was yours, right?
Shimmer?
Yes.
Shimmer's cool
The
too.
one with
Oh,
the
man.
random, like you're sitting there running, and then the random bloody walls and the little screaming lady.
So that's actually a trick with LODs. I did kind of a bunch of creative things with that one. We were actually judged on creativity for that map. Yeah, so the walls that you're seeing, those are actually two different LOD models.
Uh-huh.
So when you get close enough to a certain distance, it shifts out the LOD models for ones that are covered in blood. And there's another one. There's a guy that's in an electric chair, and I made it so the LOD models are the exact same, except like on LOD 1, his head is turned a little bit towards you. So as you like walk up to him, his head turns and looks at you. Then I did some other stuff. I'm trying to remember. That was a lot of it was just shader work with like the moving floors, and there was some other stuff I did where like I enabled a monster in front of a mirror, and then I baked my reflection probes, which is basically like taking a 360 picture from this spot and making it so it projects that as a reflection. So I put a monster in front of the mirror, and then I baked the reflection probe, and then I deleted the monster. So now if you look in that mirror, you see a monster behind you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I remember playing that with Sanity for the first time. It was
Yeah.
hilarious watching people's reactions to it. I'll say that.
I've been doing a whole bunch of shader work in this one.
Let's click back over to the cutscene.
Oh, actually, this is the spider one I was talking about. Don't know what's going on with that, though. Get rid of that. I will find the spider. Okay, so right, nothing here. Maybe I'll play this, and I'll go game object, light, the spotlight, and then I'm gonna shoot it. I don't know if it's been a while since I've done this one, but
So you get to see where people are shining flashlights, or you could even have a flashlight in there.
yeah, I'm sort of making one right now. I actually don't know if this. Oh, there it is. Now you can kind of see it. So this is kind of what it would look like with a flashlight on the spider.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I was thinking about making this map, and this is just kind of like a, I don't know, proof of concept or something, where there's it's just tall grass everywhere, and you're playing uplink in it, and there's all these spiders scamping around, and they're all making noise, so you can hear them, but you can only see them with a flashlight, and they kill you if they touch you.
Oh,
So it kind of gives you some like crazy ideas for some stuff you could put in maps, and a lot of it we have to like question, like, is this, should this be in an Onward map sort of thing?
So I'm gonna say yes, just because I know I always go to Las Vegas for Halloween, so I really don't get to partake. But Halloween's one of my favorite holidays, and I know Sakio done a Halloween match this year, and it was amazing. I mean, it looked like a lot of fun. I'd done the Brutal Cast, so all of the maps that were in that map pool they had to have snow in it. And little things. I mean, we've got the Brutal Christmas party coming up, so it's like I don't know what maps I'm gonna do on that. Probably small because it's a 2v2, but But yeah, little stuff like that. It might not be in like a normal gameplay, but it's fun when the season comes because the holidays just bring out different things. And I mean, we had a lull in the leagues, so it all worked out perfect. So yeah, that.
Oh yeah, now they're coming back with a Fury. They're all coming back. I can already tell you now, Bluega, the arachnophobes are gonna love your map. They're
Yeah.
gonna love it.
They already
Yeah.
Tanglewood.
I know people hate the spiders, but I love them.
Oh man, it's hilarious.
Date night. What did I say?
This is a idea I was messing with.
Me too.
Right now I have it so night vision's constantly turned on, but I wanted to make it so night vision did this for Shimmer.
Oh, that's amazing. That would throw you off. As long as you don't put that sound, there's one map in there where it has this sound.
It's the heartbeat.
No.
Oh no,
No.
you're thinking of the wah 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 wah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Backstreets.
Oh yeah.
But I think this would be really cool with the heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
That goes through this whole map. Fun fact, I actually just found this asset pack today in... Do you guys ever play Zero Caliber?
The old school shooting game?
Yeah, well, it's like a VR shooter, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it up. You recognize the floor in there? The walls. So I'll go back to Shimmer, check out the floor.
Oh, look at that.
And then the walls are the exact same too. Now let me show you the outside.
Wild.
These walls. And then I'll show you where is it? So when he goes outside, you see the walls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the same exact pack used for Shimmer. I kind of found it crazy after starting to make all these maps, after you start seeing like a lot of the same asset packs that you've been using in a lot of these like other games that you've been playing forever, and you never put the two and two together.
Yeah.
I always thought that was cool. This asset pack's actually for an abandoned school, and here you see it being used for a jail.
Huh.
That's amazing.
It's kind of cool.
That is amazing though.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be all for tonight's episode. Be sure to like and subscribe. Also, go follow us. If you only caught parts of it, be sure to go follow and listen to us on your favorite podcast. Wherever you listen to your podcast, we're on Amazon, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, of course here on YouTube. And the list goes on. So yeah, Buzzsprout. I mean, we're the Brutal Podcast is everywhere. I think Skyler said it last week that I have the #1 Onward podcast.
You do?
Yeah,
You absolutely do, man. Amazing.
I'm the only one, so it makes it super easy. So
Still doesn't mean it's any less good though.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's any less made.
yeah, but that's why we're here. If y'all want to see something in upcoming episodes, hit me up in the Brutalcast Discord. The link is in the bio and in the description below, so be sure to hit us up in there, and we will get it to you. Y'all asked for this Mapmakers edition, so I go out and I find the best of the best to be able to talk about this. So once again, like and subscribe. Skyler, Swamp, Blue, thanks for coming in and sharing y'all's knowledge and all that. Y'all have anything to say?
Not really. I mean, if you're ever looking for help on making maps, just hit one of us up. I'm sure we'll direct you people.
Yeah.
And then we'll make you
Absolutely.
teach 2 other people. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, one day someone's gonna have to teach me, and I'm not gonna be easy. Anyway, I hope y'all have a nice night, everybody. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Brutal Podcast and the Brutal Cast. It has been an amazing night, everybody.
Yeah, thanks again for doing this, Shep.
Yeah, no problem. Elmo's having lighting issues, so expect another VC, Bluega. Or Swamp, one of the two.
Have fun with that.
Swamp, you got anything?
No, I'm good. Yeah, just appreciate the opportunity to go on the platform and talk about this stuff, and yeah, our lines are open.
All right, sounds good. And I also put the Onward Custom Map League, so that's their server. So be sure to go in there, follow them, and get a heads up on all these maps, because you may see them in whatever league you're playing. We've got quite a few spooling up, getting ready for their seasons, or have already started their seasons. The custom maps, it does look like that's the direction Onward is going, especially with the help from Onward Custom Map Leagues. So yeah, we appreciate that. And so until next time, y'all be good, and GG's.
Welcome to the Brutal Podcast, no time to relax. Shipwrecked in the booth, we're spitting facts. Some strats to loadouts, we break it all down. Goes Bob, Lipinski, Peace holding the crown. Onward in the virtual war, my sock on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. Wisdom of war, we're the ones to seek. Strategy and skill, it's the grind, not the peak. Ghost with the tactics, Bob brings the heat. Lipinski and Peace got the moves, can't be beat. Onward in the virtual war, my sock on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. Wisdom of war, we're the ones to see. Strategy and skill, it's the grind, not the peak. Ghost with the tactics, Bob brings the heat. Lipinski and Peace got the moves, can't be beat. Onward in the virtual war, my sock on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. So tune in and ride, let the battle commence. In the Brutal Podcast, we drop that intense. From the chaos of combat to the calm of the chat. We're warriors of wisdom, and that's where it's at. Welcome to the Brutal Podcast, no time to relax. Shipwrecked in the booth, we're spitting facts. Some strats to loadouts, we break it all down. Goes Bob, Lipinski, Peace holding the crown. Onward in the virtual war, my sock on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. Wisdom of war, we're the ones to seek. Strategy and skill, it's the grind, not the peak. Ghost with the tactics, Bob brings the heat. Lipinski and Peace got the moves, can't be beat. Onward in the virtual war, my sock on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. Wisdom of war, we're the ones to see. Strategy and skill, it's the grind, not the peak. Ghost with the tactics, Bob brings the heat. Lipinski and Peace got the moves, can't be beat. Onward in the virtual war, my sock on the rise. Uplink in the air, we aim for the prize. Vault defending the house, watch our back. In this game of survival, we never lack. So tune in and ride, let the battle commence. In the Brutal Podcast, we drop that intense. From the chaos of combat to the calm of the chat. We're warriors of wisdom, and that's where it's at.